Greetings, Guardians. This is Olympus Alliance. Today is one of those videos where everything comes together. Over the past weeks, we've been breaking down heroes one by one, looking at their builds, their strengths, and how to use them effectively without wasting resources. But today, we take the next step. Today, we combine that knowledge into something much more powerful. We are going to dive into 5 Chaos team variations that are capable of countering a wide range of enemy compositions. And more importantly, we're going to understand why they work. Because in Hero Wars, it's not just about copying a team. It's about understanding the synergy behind it so you can adapt it to your own account. Now before we begin, there's one important thing to keep in mind. These are not just pure Chaos teams. In some cases, you'll see heroes from other factions joining the lineup. And that's intentional. Because when a hero from outside Chaos brings a mechanic that the faction itself doesn't have, that's where real optimization begins. So let's start with the foundation. The first team is built around what many players already recognize as the core of Chaos. Astaroth, Xesha, and Aidan. The Xesha core. This trio defines what Chaos is all about. The sacrifice mechanic is the key here. As abilities trigger and health is exchanged, the team gains increased magic attack and survivability. It creates a scaling effect that becomes stronger as the fight progresses. This is not a team that wins instantly. This is a team that grows into the fight. Now we take that core and add 2 very interesting pieces. Kayla and Peach. At first glance, mixing physical damage dealers into a magical core might seem inconsistent. But this is where synergy becomes more important than labels. Kayla and Aidan share one of the most unique interactions in the game. They can bring each other back. That alone changes the way fights play out, because the opponent is forced to deal with a threat that doesn't stay down. Peach, on the other hand, scales her effectiveness based on how many Chaos allies are positioned in front of her. With Xesha forming a solid front, Peach gains both safety and damage potential, turning her into a long-range threat that can finish fights quickly. So what you end up with is a team that scales, sustains, and still delivers explosive damage when the opportunity appears. Now let's move to the second team, and here we take Chaos into a completely magical direction. This lineup brings together Kai, Lars, Krista, Xesha, and Aidan. Now this is where things get very interesting, because Kai, Lars, and Krista were not always part of the meta. Before their rework, they were often overlooked. But now, they have returned with much stronger impact. Krista lays down ice across the battlefield, and Lars pulls enemies through it, creating a powerful combination of control and damage. But what really changed is Krista's survivability. With her crystallization ability, she can absorb a large portion of incoming damage, effectively acting as a frontline presence. Kai benefits heavily from being in Chaos. His vampirism allows him to sustain himself, and with the relic enhancements and Chaos synergy, his damage becomes much more threatening. Like Xesha, he can also target enemies with lower magic defense, which fits perfectly into a team that aims to break through defenses over time. And then we return again to Xesha and Aidan, whose sacrifice mechanic ties everything together. The result is a team that can absorb pressure, control the battlefield, and then convert that into overwhelming magical damage. Now we move into a more strategic composition. The third team introduces Tempest and Somna into the Xesha core, creating what many players refer to as Taxa Somna. Astaroth, Xesha, Aidan, Tempest, and Somna. This team is designed with control and counterplay in mind. Tempest brings time manipulation into the fight. He slows the pace, disrupts enemy timing, and increases the overall survivability of your team. And that fits perfectly into chaos, because chaos becomes stronger the longer the fight lasts. Somna plays a very specific role. She is there to neutralize key threats, especially heroes like Kayla. By disrupting their effectiveness, she allows your team to maintain control of the fight. And once the fight extends, Xesha begins to dominate. One by one, enemies fall as her damage ramps up. If Somna is not available, Lien can be used as an alternative. Her charm adds disruption and helps control the enemy's momentum, although in most cases she will be slightly less effective than Somna in this specific role. This team is not about speed. It is about control, patience, and execution over time. Now let's change the pace completely. The fourth team is aggressive, direct, and built to break through weaker defensive lines quickly. Cleaver, Kayla, Aidan, Tristan, and Oya. Cleaver starts the fight by disrupting the enemy formation, pulling targets out of position and creating openings. Tristan follows by applying armor penetration, making every physical hit significantly more effective. Oya focuses on finishing weakened enemies, targeting the lowest health opponent, and turning pressure into kills. And then comes Kayla. With the setup created by the rest of the team, Kayla delivers explosive damage that can end fights very quickly. Aidan supports the entire process with healing and the ability to bring Kayla back if needed. This is a team that doesn't wait. It creates pressure immediately and forces the opponent to react. And finally, we arrive at one of the strongest combinations available right now. We return to the Axa core, but this time we add Folio and Burner. Astaroth, Xesha, Aidan, Folio, and Burner. This team represents a perfect balance between stability and damage. Axa provides the foundation. Burner adds healing, energy generation, and additional support that allows the team to maintain control of the fight. And then there is Folio. With the support of Burner, and the scaling from Xesha, Folio's damage becomes extremely dangerous. His ability to apply pressure and finish targets makes him one of the most valuable additions to this composition. The key here is timing. The team builds momentum, stabilizes the fight, and then releases its full damage potential in a decisive moment. This is why this composition is so difficult to stop. It combines sustain, scaling, and burst in a way that very few teams can match. So Guardians, what we've seen today, is that Chaos is not just one type of team. It is a flexible system that can adapt to different situations. It can be slow and scaling. It can be aggressive and explosive. It can be control-based or damage-focused. And the real strength of Chaos comes from understanding how to combine these elements correctly. Now we want to hear from you. Which of these teams are you already using, and which ones do you want to test next? Leave your thoughts in the comments, because your feedback helps shape what we test next here on the channel. Stay tuned, stay sharp, and as always, salute and friendship.